Hey guys, my name is Abhinay, and today I'm here to get back to creating videos and doing some fun content. And so I've come up with this cool application that I wanted to build, and that is what we are going to build in today's live stream. So I'm very excited for that, and I know that I won't be getting many uh, people watching live, but maybe in future we'll start gathering people since it's the first part, so I don't have any high expectations. I'm just going to um, create some create a fun application basically, and it's been a very long time since I created a video, and I got super busy with college and stuff, and now is the time I'm getting back to it, getting back to creating videos because that is something I really enjoy and I really love. So let's get to what we are going to do today without wasting much time. And before going to that, let me just check if the video is live. Perfect. So we are live right now, and yeah, that is my screen. So all right, I I'm going to first let you guys know what the application is going to be. It's a cool application that I came up with. So we'll just going to go to Jamboard to basically draw some illustrations to have an idea about what we are going to do. So sorry. Uh, to so the thing is, the name of the application would be, let me write it here, college wall, or we can just change its name to UniWall. So this is going to be the name of the application, and if I can increase the size, yeah. So this is going to be the application that we are going to build, and the good thing about this is that it is going to have a lot of features. Let me try to list some of them here. Where is the text? Yes. So let's see. The features that we are going to have in this would be authentication, backend, database, front end. These are not features basically. I'm just telling you what all technologies we are going to use, kind of like that. We'll dive into that deeper, but let's first understand what the application is going to do. So this application is going to be a wall that is going to be exclusive to every university. So suppose, let's say this wall is for IIT Delhi. It's basically a college. Many Indians would know that. So suppose this is the wall of IIT Delhi, and let me just take it down. IIT Delhi wall. And what it's going to allow is that people can anonymously post notes on that wall. So somebody can go on and be like, I love my college, and they can just put this in that wall, and everyone who is from IIT Delhi can basically put any notes they want, and then it's going to be and the note is going to be very much anonymous. Nobody's going to know who posted that, and it's going to fill up with all random notes, people's confessions and what people want to say to someone. And to avoid harassment and everything, we can have an option uh, to basically remove a note if somebody doesn't like it. So suppose if there is a note like this, and if I don't like this note, I will have the ability to put something on top of that. So I can go on and like, please don't, and I can put it on top of that. So basically this is going to give an idea about how an actual wall would work if there was a wall like that in a college, that people can basically overwrite any text. So if somebody writes something, they can put something above that, and that's going to be the fun, because nobody can harass anyone. What they can do is, if somebody doesn't like that content, they can put something over that. So it's going to be mostly fun and creative thing to make. And in future, maybe we can do it like people from other colleges can watch the walls of other colleges, what's happening, what's the current affairs of that college. So that way we'll have a lot of colleges onboarded. So that's going to be it. And we are going to basically start with backend, and then we'll go to front end. We are going to build everything. We are going to deploy it to production. So it's going to be live in production. So if you're new to web development, you'll get to understand how things work, how we actually build applications, how we actually deploy them to production, how the backend and front end communicate, how we can do it in the optimal way. And this is going to really be fun making and a very good learning experience for people who are just starting with web development. So let's get started. I'll just confirm the live stream is still on. Okay. Fine. Yeah, perfect. Okay. I'll just get back to what we were doing. So there are 3 steps while we make anything and everything. You have to follow 3 steps. Create the architecture. This is going to be step 1. Okay. So step 1. This is a bit too long. Okay, yes. So the first step should be to create the architecture, and the second step would be to build the backend. In this, there are like sub parts. You have to first build the models, then controllers. That's it basically. Then we can go on to step 3, which is going to be the front end. So this is a very basic thing that you have to do, and architecture is really very important, because if you don't know what exactly you're going to build, then it's going to create complexities in the future. So in this video, we are going to cover architecture, and then we are going to build backend, and we are going to build front end. So let's also check out the technologies we'll be using. The technologies, let's change the color, and we'll be listing everything here. So I think I need a better editor than this, but it's cool. So for backend, we'll be needing, let's start with database. That's going to be on MongoDB. That is a NoSQL database, and we'll have the backend. It's going to be with GraphQL. So you can say it's basically type of API. And this is not REST. Okay, REST is basically something totally different than GraphQL, so don't get confused with REST. REST is not something of a big deal, to be very honest. If you don't know all this, it's fine, but we are going to use GraphQL to create the backend, basically to create communications that the front end can do. And for authentication, we are going to use simple email password. Not email password, we are going to use Google authentication. The reason is because we have to authenticate that the user, whoever is trying to post something on the wall, is actually from that particular college. So suppose if there is someone from IIT Delhi, their email ending would be iitd@.ac.in, something like that. So that is important, and that's why we'll use Google authentication, so that we can take out the email that they have and only allow people of the same email endings, like suppose @iitdelhi.com, something like that. to post on the same wall. So for front end, we'll be having Next.js and what else? Tailwind, React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, etc., etc. The basic front end stuff. And another important thing to note is that we'll be using a mono repo. What is a mono repo? Mono repo is basically a, a place where you can put all your code base together. So suppose what happens is people usually make different repositories for backend, different repository for front end, and there are multiple types of backends. Like some people have webhooks, so they keep a different repository for that. Some people have microservices, so a different repository for that, different type of front end. But it creates a problem because you cannot have shared code. You cannot have the same code in between the repositories. They are completely independent. So if there is a single source of truth that you want, suppose there's a function that creates an algorithm to calculate how much money to give to someone in any organization. I'm just giving an example. So if there is a function that calculates the money that you have to give to someone, and it is in one particular repository and there's another backend repository, then you'll have to copy paste that same function there itself. And when you make change to one of the repositories, it's not going to reflect on the second one. So you have to keep versioning both of them, and it's going to get tedious. So if you have a mono repo, you can basically have this. You can basically reuse the same code in multiple repositories because all the repositories are at the same place in one single repository. So it's pretty good. It gets complicated. I understand that having different repositories sounds more clean, but trust me, once you start working on larger projects, you'll actually see how this benefits. So our mono repo is going to be Turbo repo. It's by Vercel. It's a pretty cool thing, and it basically does a lot of caching so that you don't reuse the modules, the npm packages again and again. So this is the repo, and this is another thing that they are building, working on Turbo Pack, but it's still in beta, I believe. Anyways, that's not our concern. So this is going to be the technologies that we are going to use, and these are actually like production ready technologies. If you know all of them, then you can build production websites very easily, and there is nothing like outdated technologies in these. They are all the latest technologies that you can have. So now we come to the first part to build this. Let's see. So the first part is going to be architecture. Yeah. So this is going to be our architecture, and we are going to brainstorm it right now. I have not thought about it at all. I just had this idea a few months back, but I never had the chance to sit down and actually create it. So let's talk about architecture and let's see what all we need. It's going to require some thinking and understanding how the application is going to look like. So let's first see like what we have in our mind for the application. So suppose this is going to be a website. What I am thinking right now is this is going to be the screen 1, and in this I'll write screen 1. In this a user gets the option to log in and sign up. Log in like that, and here it gets the option to sign up. So we have login and sign up, and we'll be having sub was a bit of celebrations going on, somebody's wedding, so it's completely fine. We have a pretty wild crowd. Um, Anyways, getting back to it. So we are going to have different walls for different colleges, like this, and it's going to basically allow you to go to different walls and open them up and check out what is written in those walls. So a person can maybe click on any of these walls or can log in or sign up. Basically, to even view these walls, they'll have to log in and sign up. So let's go ahead and check out the screen number 2. I don't. So this is going to be the next screen. Let's name it screen number 2. In this, we are going to just have a Google logo, and we are going to write here sign in. This is going to be the same for both of them. The navigation bar is going to be the same. Sign in. You click on this logo and you're basically able to sign into your application. And after that, after you have signed in, you see another web page like this. And now instead of login and sign up, it shows you a plus icon like this, wherein you can basically post on your wall. A plus icon, and instead of plus icon, we can basically have my wall, something like that. We can go like my wall, like that, and the rest of the walls will be still here, like this. Nice. So this is going to be the screen 3rd that we have to build, and then we'll have, let's see, we'll be having we have to basically create the wall now. It's going to be red in color, like this, and yeah. So basically this is going to be the wall, and it's going to give an option here. With plus button like this. So basically you can add message 1, message 2, message 3, and similarly it's just going to get placed over that. So the important thing is, the fun part would be to give the functionality of dragging and dropping on top of a particular message. So that is going to be the most difficult and the most fun part of this application. Rest all is pretty straightforward. So once somebody clicks on plus button, they'll just get the same message that we are getting, and that's it. That's pretty much it. We can also show a message here saying IIT Delhi wall. So this is going to be the wall of IIT Delhi, suppose, like that. And it's going to be difficult to find out the name of the college from email ID. Either we are going to have to use some API that is going to give it to us. I don't think there is many, or we can just not show, we can just say your wall, but we can have like maybe famous colleges typed in, so that in the homepage we can see some of the walls like these. But because there are a lot of colleges and they have different Google Workspace email, so it's quite difficult to have all the names of the colleges. So maybe we can just keep here your college wall, like that. All right. So this is going to be it, and it seems pretty cool and nice. People can share anonymously whatever they want. No name is going to be listed here. But another important thing is that we need to give this assurity to them that they are completely anonymous and nothing is spying on them, or their names cannot be revealed. I don't think it's quite necessary after a point of time, because if we grow big, people wouldn't even mind if we know their names or for what they're writing, because that would ensure that they don't go too far, because they'll know that we might have their names. B, will be a very big website. It's not that I'm going to promote it into my own college that I can see it. There are going to be multiple colleges and people are not going to care if somebody from a whole other college is going to see it or not. But still it's going to be, now that I think of it, it's going to give suspicion and people are going to be reluctant to do that. So what I was thinking is, once they sign in, they can basically sign out after that. We'll just verify what colleges, what college they have, and we are going to store it in their browser. So signing in is just going to be for verification, then they can sign it out and we'll know that okay, this detail is verified, and they can go on and post whatever they want. And we are also going to have once in 7 days. So it's important to limit the number of messages, otherwise people are going to just spam. So once in 7 days, or we can start off with once in 3 days. So that's pretty much it. That's the architecture that we have. This is not the conventional architecture that we think of. And so let's get on to the backend structure and the models basically. Let's first see the steps that we said. Yeah, so we have done the architecture. Architecture is nothing, just having an idea about what you are going to build. And next is the backend. It has models and controllers. These are the two important things. We'll be doing the models part theoretically, and for controllers we are going to start coding. We're not going to waste time, because controllers is more like the functionality of it. Let's start with models, and let's see what all models do we need. So first, very important and the most basic would be, let's see, the message. So we are going to have a table. So when I'm saying model, it's going to be basically a database table. Let's see what a table looks like. So this is going to be a message table, and it is going to have multiple columns like this. Message, what the message is, name, maybe like this. This is going to be a database column. We are not going to have name and message. So it's just to give you an idea about what exactly a database model is. It's just a table. It's just basically what we are going to store. So we are going to store messages, and they are going to look like so first thing that we are going to store is the time posted. Second would be the college suffix, so that we know what the domain was, basically college domain that it is posted to. The message, obviously, and we can write content here, so to distinguish it with message. Let's name it notes, because that makes more sense to post on a college wall. So we can say that okay, we are going to be having notes posted, and we are going to write here the message in that note, and pretty much that's it. We can also have a feature wherein we can take in the email of the person this is intended to, so that we can send an email to them saying that there is a note that has been sent for you, so that they can have a look at it. So we are going to go on and say to, and this will be basically an email. Time, and the main thing about models is that you have to also tell the data type that you're going to store. So it's going to be numeric, string basically, college domain string, message is going to be string, email is going to be string. So this is just the nodes that we are going to have. Next model is, let's use the same page, and next model is user, so that we can know who all are in the website, who all have created an account. I'm just thinking if we really need this to avoid anonymity. Let's see. We can. Okay, let's not have users. We don't want to store any information about anyone. We're just going to extract their college domain and going to use that. So we are not going to store any data about user. We are going to have walls. Let's see, do we even need walls in the database? Because we can extract all the unique college domains, and okay, no, let's have a wall. It's going to just be better. So let me create a wall. So the idea behind the wall is that the problem we faced earlier, that we didn't have the name of the colleges. So if there is somebody from like IIT Delhi who is opening the application for the first time from the college, so there has been no wall, no messages, no notes for that particular college, so they will get an option to enter the name of the college. And okay, but then they might put any troll name, so that is another problem. Let's just leave the name feature. Let's just create a wall, and it's just going to have the college domain. This is going to be number 1. So we know that, okay, this wall has this college domain, and it's going to be of type string. Second would be name. This would be of type string, and we'll have to keep it optional because we don't know all the names of all the college domains. And that's pretty much it. This is going to be the key, the foreign key or whatever. I'm not into database theory and stuff, so this is going to be, I think, the foreign key that is going to connect these two. And we are going to have ID. So the good thing is this is going to be automatic, and this is going to be automatic because MongoDB does that for us. So we don't have to worry about these two. We just have to create a schema of these 3 things, and we are done. This is the most simplest model that we can have right now. To answer your question, Atik, yes, this is my first video, and I have, if you're still there, if I have I've started this, and I'm going to make a lot more if there is a good response, if people are actually interested in watching this. So yeah, thank you very much for asking that. It's just I like to, I would anyway make this project, so I thought maybe I'll just do a live stream while I'm making it, because I'm going to make it anyway for fun, because I don't have anything else to do right now. I am pretty bored. So yeah, so that's it. We are done with the theory part, and we can just move on to coding, which is going to be very interesting. So let's just say that's it. So it's pretty simple right now. That's why we are not going to spend a lot of time into brainstorming. Also, I am live streaming, so that it doesn't make sense to waste time into brainstorming. But if you're building a real project with a real client, or for a real company or something like that, because if you're going to go to a big corporate company, then you're not going to ever build anything from scratch. That is the only cone that we have there. But if you're going to work with startups, or if you're freelancing, or if you're building it for anyone, then you'll have to build it from scratch. So it's very important that you take at least a week. If there is no deadline, you take a week to think about the models mentally, get mentally prepared, talk to the client, talk to the requirements, like have everything like concrete, so that there is nothing that changes after that, after once you have started coding. Because if you keep changing the scope of the project, then it gets difficult. So this is what we have come up with. We only need these things to build this, an anonymous wall to post anything, any confessions about anyone, to have more interactivity between the colleges, so that if suppose I have to say something to someone from a college, like if there is a senior in my college whom I think, not even colleges, I don't know if it's a good idea to put it for school. No, we won't go for schools. We cannot because schools don't have their email ID. But for colleges, if I have a senior that I think is really helpful, then I can write a message that thank you very much for your help and everything. We can implement AI into this. That would be a further scope if there is going to be um, more people. So we're going to put AI into this um, to detect if any message is wrong, if any message is abusive, harassing, so we can take it down with the help of AI. And it's pretty easy with AI. It's just going to have a cost because ChatGPT isn't free. We are going to just use ChatGPT, and everything is pretty simple. Basically, it's just all hyped up about AI. And if you're going to follow this video and these parts, you'll understand actually how pretty simple everything is and how they all make it too complicated. So don't take it as a tutorial. This is not a tutorial. I am just going to build it, so and you can just see um, how applications are made. There's a lot of things that might go over your head, but you'll have an idea about how building something looks like. I think it's not going to take a long time, 2 3 days, 2 3 videos, and we are going to be done with it. So and in future maybe we can build a lot more complex projects. So let's start coding and let's see how we can go on. So what happens is, let me first sign into my account. Yes. I have to open. Why don't they have the SMS option? Okay, I'll just pause the stream for a while and I'll get the authentication code, and I'll be back. Just a second. Hello, hello. Yes, so we have the code. So what I'm going to do is, we have a lot of repositories here. A lot of things have been built in the past, so good thing. So what we're going to use is a starter that I've created. It's called Next GraphQL starter. So it's nothing much. It's basically once you work a lot on a lot of projects, you don't want to build everything from scratch. Like you don't want to set up the back end and front end, and it's going to take a lot of time. And if I start doing that, the video is going to be very long. So we have this starter, which we can use to build anything. It has like basic back end and front end connections, and so we can just quickly focus on building instead of the basic boilerplate stuff. Boilerplate is basically the stuff that is always there. Okay, let's go on and create a new repository from this template. We are going to name it UniWall. There it is. We have the repository. I'm going to keep the code public just in case anybody wants to use that. Or maybe I'll keep it private. Who knows? Depends upon how you all take it. So what we are going to use is, this is just some music stuff. What we are going to use is, we are going to create a new project on WebStorm. What is WebStorm? WebStorm is basically an IDE like VS Code, and it basically allows you to develop code and everything. It's pretty cool. It's exactly like VS Code but with extra features. So I use this. If you use VS Code, that's completely fine. Here we are. we have Copilot in this, which I don't want. It just ruins the fun. So I just took the trial of it. I don't know how to disable it though. Okay, anyways, we'll look into that. So this is the starter we have. I'm going to run npm install. It's going to install all the basic packages that we need for backend, for GraphQL, for Next.js, for React, for HTML, CSS, for everything. So it's going to basically install everything, which it already has done. That was pretty fast. And let's see what we have right now in this starter. So we have this GraphQL folder that I've created, and it's going to have types. And this is what we are going to focus on right now. Two types we have to create. We have this user type, which we are going to remove because we don't need to store the user details. We are only going to store the messages and the walls. So let's rename it to or let's not rename it. Let's copy paste it to create a note. So this is a note that is a sticky note that gets stuck to that wall digitally. So this is going to be a note. Yes. So we have three files that I've created. Don't try to understand what is happening here. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy how everything is getting into place. It's a very big learning curve. It's not easy if you are starting off. It took me a long time to do that, but yeah. I think I'll give you my GitHub link if you want. That's the big deal. There it is. So yeah. So this is basically the GraphQL model. We are going to I'm just going to quickly do that to not waste time. So it's pretty simple and pretty fun once you have the idea about what you're doing. Once you're not learning and actually building, it gets pretty cool to build. So here we have nodes. I said time posted comes automatically. We don't need that, and ID comes automatically by MongoDB. We need these three things: college domain, message, and to. And this has to be optional because a message can be general, or the person doesn't want to notify the one whom the message is for. So this is going to be the ID that is going to come in. So we have two types of types: the DB user and the GraphQL user. These are the two things that we are going to work on. So what is the difference between database and GraphQL? You have to understand that. So let me just do that very quickly. So if this is your database, it's a physical storage somewhere in the US or somewhere like that. If this is your database, you're going to store a lot of data. That is not everything is required for the front end to know. So suppose this is your front end, this is your front end, and this is your back end. You might be storing here data like money, left. Suppose this is a Paytm or any banking database. They have to store a lot of stuff about everyone. They know how much money you have in your balance account. But when they are showing it on the front end, they don't want it to want maybe the money left to be visible. They just want to know what all transactions you did in the last 3 months. They don't want to show everything, all the parameters. So you place a GraphQL or a REST API in between, GraphQL, and it's going to filter all the fields and perform operations into them. So suppose if there are like 4 fields, it's going to change them into 2 fields, and these are the only fields that are going to go towards the front end. And it can even add a new field. Maybe with money left, it can calculate how much money you have spent in all, something like that. It's just a very vague things that I'm talking about. So it can add more fields and it can reduce fields. So that's why we are going to have different types for the database and for the GraphQL. If you're using a REST API is basically get, put, post, and delete and everything. So if you're going to use a REST API, that is going to not allow you to have 2 types, because, and that is the problem with that it has a very specific types for each request. So if I'm saying user, then you have to define that, okay, all these data will be sent every time the front end asks for it. But with GraphQL, it ask the front end what all you need, and what all the front end asks for, it gives it back. So technically there is no advantage or anything like that. Both of them can serve the same things, but in a larger project, it's pretty much better to request only two things if you need only two things, instead of calling for all the data. But if you're using a REST API, then you'll have to download all the data that it allows a particular route from the backend, and you'll have to use everything. But with GraphQL, you can use, like, maybe if it's the home page, you just need the user's profile picture, you can just download the profile picture from the backend. There are a lot of more features about GraphQL, like connecting tables and everything. I don't think we need to go into deep into that if you're not having a tutorial or something like that. So that's it. We are going to have two types. This is going to be the DB, what all we are going to actually store in the database. So I'll just say we don't need much. We need the college domain, that is going to be string. We need what content that is going to be string. We need what was the third thing? Two, and that's going to be optional, so I'll put a question mark. So this is TypeScript, another cool technology. So it basically allows you to have types. If you know even a bit of JavaScript, you know that you don't have to specifically mention if a variable is going to be string or number, but it is actually interesting and easy. It makes things easier if you actually have to specify the data type. So you might be like, why should I specify the data types when I don't need it? Because JavaScript doesn't have it necessary. So it's like if I accidentally try to perform an operation on college domain, maybe I think that college domain is a number and I try to perform an operation, so I'll get to know that while I'm developing. I'll get a error message that, okay, college domain is a string, don't try to add 2 to it, it's a string. And that way a lot of bugs are caught while development. If you're creating a very simple applications, you don't need to use TypeScript, but for a project like this, it's pretty good if you use TypeScript. So like C++, you have to define types. So similarly, TypeScript is just JavaScript plus types. So it's almost same. So this is the DB user. We'll also have ID and created at automatically in this. So we don't have to we don't have to specify that. Let's see what all are we going to supply to the front end. So now this is the database and this is going to be the user. So what all, not the user, basically the node. So we have to change some names, db note, and we are going to name this type note. Let's not use the update feature right now. We don't need to use the updates, and we don't need any mutations right now. I'll talk about all these mutations in a while. We don't need them right now. So this is let's remove the comments that I have. Okay, perfect. I think we need some sample mutations or something like that. Okay, we'll look into that. Just bear with me for some time. So this is going to be the node. So we'll need almost the same things. That is going to be college domain, which is a string. Then we have content, that is a string, and we'll have created at. This is basically going to be the time the post was created at, and 2. So 2 is not going to be compulsory. That's why we are going to not put an exclamation mark at the end. That is for making it permanent, for required in GraphQL. So this is basically query, mutation, and type. If you know GraphQL, then you'll understand what all queries and mutations are. If you don't know GraphQL, then I'll give you a basic idea that queries is to basically query something to just get some information, that okay, I want to know something from the database, and mutation is like I want to perform some changes in the database. So to do that, you'll need it doesn't allow you to do anything whatever you want. That way anybody can do anything they want. There are like specific functions that you are allowed to perform, and those functions we are going to specify here. Suppose, for example, to give an example of a query, it is going to be just nothing, a basic simple note that is going to display the information about node. So it's pretty redundant. I understand that we have to do it again. Like, why is there not a simple way to show everything? But it's very beneficial to have control over what all you're displaying in the front end. So this is going to be the node, and this is going to be the database node. This file is complete. Let's go to the index and change some stuff here. So I have to change the names. Let's name it node and let's put it here. Okay, perfect. So we have the model and index ready. Similarly, we are going to do the same for we are going to work on controllers in the next video, because I think it's going to get too long. We're just going to quickly create the wall model, and if we have good responses in this video, maybe we're going to continue with another part to it. And let's just quickly do the wall. There is wall. Let's just start with index. Let's name it wall, and wall, and wall, and let's go to model, wall, wall, wall. What all we need college domain and name. That is going to be optional. College domain, perfect. Just put a name of type string, optional. College domain, we don't need ID. Do we? No. We don't need a created ad, we don't need content, we just need name. That is not permanent, not required. ID and created ad, again created automatically, but we don't need to supply that to the front end. That's why I removed it from GraphQL. We don't need to supply the ID and created ad for wall, because walls are going to be just there. It doesn't matter when they were created. That's good. That's a good progress we have done. We have the backend almost ready. Queries and mutations and controllers are going to be in the next video. We don't need the user, but I'm going to keep it because it has a bit of the boilerplate code that I might need to reuse. But moving on, I just need to import these to tell GraphQL that okay, you have to actually start using them. So I'll just do node wall like this, and I'm just going to import them here. Perfect. And do we need to change anything here? No, and no. What does it say? So it says not a scenario. Okay, it has to be an async function. This has to be a class. Okay, I'll fix this. This is basically a TypeScript issue. Anyway, so this all looks pretty cool. We also have in this boilerplate stripe, which we don't need. It was for checkouts, so I can delete that. We have again stripe here. We don't need that. And auth we need, and DB we need. I also have authentication in this, like done already. So it makes things pretty simple. We have the email and password authentication also set up, and the Google OAuth setup, all done like manually. So it's pretty cool. It's all done manually. I mean, like, we're not using Firebase or anything to implement Google authentication. The actual way Google wants you to integrate their authentication, we have done that. So we have all the code here for that. So we don't need to worry about implementing authentication. We can just quickly build it, and then we're going to deploy it, and then we're going to see how people are going to take it. So it's going to be in 3 phases. Like, this was the phase 1, wherein we are just going to build it. Then the phase 2 would be to deploy it into production and see how it actually is going to perform. And we are going to do everything for free. We're going to deploy it to production, database, and everything without paying even a single penny. So that's also a very cool thing to know. And the 3rd phase would be to see how people are reacting to it. Is anybody actually interested in this? If we can get at least one college to post some notes to have some fun around it, it's going to be great. So that's it. That's good. We have everything almost done. We also have the web package here. basically these apps are basically the different repositories I'm talking about. So the backend and front end are in the same repository. That's the good thing about turbo repo, monorepo. Turbo repo is basically the type of monorepo we are using. So it also has basically S3 and Stripe in this, which we don't need. S3 is to store files into store files somewhere. Do we need to store files? No. So it's like to store images and media files and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that we are going to do. Then we have packages. These two are just for ESLint and formatting and stuff. It's not anything. This UI is going to be the components, but I don't think we need it, to be very honest. It's just going to overcomplicate stuff. It's a pretty basic application, so we won't need this. Basically, it extracts the components of front end, so that if you have like two websites in future, like two phases of websites, maybe if with college wall we want something like college chat or something like that, then we can use the same components, same buttons, button styles and everything. So to do that, we'll have one single source of truth for components, and it will be this. So there's a lot of things to do. It is my first try. I'm just seeing how much people are actually interested in it. Even if they are not interested in it, I'm going to finish this anyway. And so that's it. That will be it for this video. Maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, around the same time, I'll come again and finish off the controllers and start and like do all the connections with the front end. So the next video is going to be pretty complicated, I would say, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. So in the next video, we are going to make front end connections so that everything is visible on the front end and we can do it. And in the third video, we are going to just basically make the front end beautiful and like all these things, all the features. And in the fourth video, we are going to deploy it to production. So thank you very much. Let me see. Yeah, we have 2 likes and wow, good, 2 people are watching this. If you have any questions, you can ask. You have like 5 seconds before I go off. Okay then, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to set a schedule for the next stream. If anybody is interested, they can join it at that time. And this video length was what, 52. Okay, yeah. So 1 hour video. We're going to have a similar length, like 1 hour every day, and we're going to do that. And if you guys like it, we are going to build a lot more funny and fun applications, not for profit, just for fun. So yeah, thank you very much. Bye bye. I shut it off.